Felicitation to the Most Venerable Dr. K. Sri Dhammananda Nayaka Mahathera, JSM, PhD, D.Lit. of the Buddhist Mahavihara Brickfields, Kuala Lumpur, on the conferment of the title of Visva Kirti Sasana Sobhana by the Amarapura Nikaya of Sri Lanka in 1995 Common Era. Most Venerable Sir, on behalf of the Sasana Abhivruddhi Vardhana Society, the Buddhist Missionary Society, and all the Buddhists of Malaysia, I wish to convey to you our heartiest felicitations on the conferment of the title of Visva Kirti Sasana Sobhana on your august self by the Amarapura Nikaya of Sri Lanka in 1995. We note with great pride that this conferment represents a rare tribute because it is the first time that anyone has been thus honored by all the three Nikayas of Sri Lanka. Venerable Sir, you are now the recipient of the following award: Dharma Kirti Sri, meaning esteemed in the propagation of the Dhamma, confirmed by the Siam Mahanikaya in 1965, and carrying with it the Chief Sangha Nayakaship of Malaysia and Singapore. The Visva Dharma Visarada Sasana Jagga, universal bearer of the banner of the dispensation, conferred by the Ramayana Nikaya in 1993. And the Visva Kirti Sasana Sobhana, meaning universally recognized as one who illuminates the dispensation, conferred by the Amarapura Nikaya in 1995. Venerable Sir, we on our part feel honored in that we have been able to receive the illustrious Dhamma through you, and that we have, in some small measure, been able to assist you in your noble work. We, as Malaysians, feel particularly honored that the highest dignitaries of the Buddhist orders of Sri Lanka have seen it fit to recognize the work done to spread the sublime message in this part of the world. It is significant that this honor was conferred on you at this auspicious time when we celebrate 100 years of our society's existence. It is our earnest aspiration that you will long enjoy good health so that you may continue to work for the good of all sentient beings. May you be well and happy. Dated the 29th of July, 1995, and signed by Mr. Manoris H. Albert, President of the Sasana Abhivruddhi Vardhana Society, and Mr. Tan Tek Beng, JSM, President of the Buddhist Missionary Society. And now, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, it gives me great pleasure to call upon an old friend of mine. He's a young old friend of mine, Yang Berbahagia Dato J. Jagatisan, the President of the Sai Council, who will express his felicitation on behalf of our Hindu brothers.
my dear brother Vijay Samravikrama, respected elders, the president of the Sasana Abhirvadi Vardhana Society, Mr. Albert, the president of the Missionary Society, Mr. Tan Tek Beng, respected reverends, and also the person for whom all of us are gathered here today, our dear and beloved Reverend Dhammananda. Firstly, I want to make a correction from what Brother Vijaya just mentioned. I'm not the president of Sathya Sai Central Council. I'm the advisor. So the president is there. He looks pretty upset that I've taken over his Friends, as you guys, Vijay has already told you that I'm a gate crasher on this occasion. I requested, I pleaded that we want to be here today to honor Reverend. But we've been planning this for the last 2 months, We are looking for an appropriate occasion to show our appreciation for this great being here. In fact, I was prepared to fly to Penang one occasion to do it, but they said that we should not go to Penang for that. So therefore, we're doing it here. Dear friends, today, the Sathya Sai Central Council, as you all know, is an interfaith organization. So when I speak here, I speak not only on behalf of Sathya Sai Central Council, representing our Buddhist, Hindu, Christian members, Sikh members, but also I speak on behalf of the Friendship Group for Human Values in a Caring Society, where we have our Muslim advisors and people of all races, and where Reverend Dhammananda is also an advisor. Dear brothers and sisters, all of you Buddhists are very lucky. You may not understand, you may not realize what a great force you have among you as a guiding light. I have never asked, and I don't think I ever will have the occasion in Malaysia to stand in front of a Hindu group and talk like this about a Hindu holy man, because such a holy man doesn't exist in Hinduism today in Malaysia, who has that kind of a towering colossal that Reverend Dhammananda represents. So to this extent, you're so lucky. I only wonder how many of you are taking advantage of this jewel that you have in your midst. I am taking full advantage of it. In Hinduism we say, Mada, Pida, Guru, Devam. Father is God, mother is God, Guru is God, and there's God also. The Guru is respected. Why? The Guru, because the word Guru does not mean teacher in the school, okay? It means that Gu means darkness. Ru means to remove. Guru is a person who removes the darkness of ignorance and leads one to the light. And such a person, I think, is Reverend Dhammananda. Dear brothers and sisters, Reverend Dhammananda may not talk about God to all of you, but I'm going to say 2 things here. Number one, there is a difference between, I've said this before in an occasion, I won't repeat it today. There is a difference between a man of religion and a man of God. A man of religion is a spiritual teacher of a religion, someone who's robed, who is respected by the people of his own religion only. But a man of God towers like a giant, like the sun, and he is respected by people of all religions and all races. Such a person, such a man of God is Reverend Dhammananda. And I'm here, and all of us are here today because this being reflects his light on so many people beyond the realms of Buddhism. So I pray to God that God gives Reverend health and strength to continue to be with us and to guide us in every way. The way most reverends only sit down possibly and give talks about Dhamma. But Reverend Dhammananda not only talks, he has participated in so many service activities, and he being a man, I know his health is not so good, he comes and joins in service activities for the old folks' homes, for the orphanages, and he's such an inspiring figure that I'm surprised that not more Buddhists are taking part in this kind of service activities. The Buddha says that man can become Buddha. Dear devotees, to my mind, I see that reflection of what Buddha has said in Reverend Dhammananda. People say, Reverend Dhammananda, his name is Dhammananda. I know what, for me, I would interpret the word Dhamma to mean Dharma and Ananda. Ananda means bliss and joy. Dharma means righteousness. The person who gets bliss and joy by following the path of righteousness. Dhammananda. Dear friends, it is not a great thing that somebody from your own religion praises a reverend of your own religion. But if today all of us are here, and especially myself, a Hindu, and I've got others here, Christian and Buddhist, who are here to praise Reverend, no, not praise Reverend, to revere Reverend Dhammananda, then you can understand what a great being he is. I would like, on behalf of the Satsai Central Council of Malaysia and the Friendship Group for Human Values in a Caring Society, to request Uncle Tangaraja, the President of Satsai Central Council, Brother Chia, the Deputy President of Satsai Central Council, Brother Billy Fong, our National Youth Coordinator, and some of our devotees who are here, to come forward and bring a small gift we have to present to Reverend. Please. I'd like to request Brother Uncle Tangaraja and Brother Chia, the President and Deputy President of Satsai Central Council, to offer this small gift to Reverend on our behalf. Reverend, can I read? What is there, Reverend? There's a picture of Buddha here, and here are pictures of Reverend in various activities he has taken part in various we organized. And the words here as follows: a man of religion is revered only by the people of his own religion. A man of God is revered by people of all religions. This is a gift of love to such a man of God, Reverend Dhammananda. A humble offering from Satsai Central Council and the Friendship Group of Human Values in a Caring Society. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving us the honor to be here today.
Thank you very, very much, Brother Jega. It's always inspired me. Brother Jega, I will go and help the poor. You make me very embarrassed, but my humble apologies. You're reaching the top so fast, I just can't catch up. Actually, Brother Jega is the central coordinator of the regional World Satya Sai organization, and that means he is the central coordinator for the Southeast Asian region. I think there are only 8 such regions, so he is one of the 8 men of God. 9, sorry. It's, and of course, he is also the advisor to the Central Council of Satya Sai. Please don't go any faster. If you do, please let me know. All right. When you become a Tan Sri, please let me know. Right. Brothers and sisters, that was a very touching, very heartwarming, and may I add, looking at you from down here, it really gives me great pleasure to see such a lovely big crowd. I think you deserve an applause for coming here. Thank you very much. And now, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, it is my great pleasure on behalf of all of us to call upon our most venerable Dr. K. Sri Dhammananda Nayaka Mahathera to deliver his discourse entitled Challenge to Buddhism. Most Venerable Sir.
Venerable members of the Mahasangha, Your Excellency, and my dear friends. At the beginning, we have organized only a public talk under this title of Challenge to Buddhism. After rendering a wonderful service to promote Buddhism in this country for more than 100 years, Sasana Abhivuddhi Vardhana Society, the oldest Buddhist society in this country, going to close the centenary celebration after this talk. So you have added few more items and converted into a felicitation ceremony, and the subject that you have given for me to discuss is very controversial. Many people come and ask, why do we want to challenge others? Because they really could not understand the real meaning. Whether Buddhists are going to challenge the others or others are going to challenge the Buddhists. So, anyway, I came here with full authority given to me from Sri Lanka to face any challenge. All of you know, Sasana Abhivuddhi Vardhana Society and the Buddhist Missionary Society jointly contributed a lot to promote Buddhism not only in Malaysia. Today, all over the world, people write to us saying that they depend on us to introduce Buddhism in their respective countries. And Dato Jagdishan, he is a tremendous man who introduced me as son of God who does not believe in God. A great soul who does not believe in soul. His introduction is always like that. But he has done a wonderful service. I think many of you still have not realized. He organized friendship group on human values, Muslims, Christians, Hindus and Buddhists, to celebrate Vesak, Christmas, Hari Raya and Deepavali. So jointly we celebrate these 4 occasions by extending our goodwill and understanding. I think this can pave the way here in this country for all the existing religionists to get together and work together without any discrimination. And he has initiated this. So we are giving our full support in all his social, welfare, educational, religious activities. And he also come and participate in our activities. So the subject challenge to Buddhism, we had to go back to 2,500 years. How Buddhism was originated, why Buddhism was originated, what are the problems and difficulties and hindrances and challenges the Buddha had to face because of this new religious term, Buddhism. I think many of you know there are different types of religions. Revealed religion, organized religion, institutional religion, and natural religions. But Buddhism is not belong to any of these four religious groups. Revealed religion means the message given by God through a messenger or prophet for mankind to follow by giving commandment, guidance, instructions, and religious laws. They are known as revealed religions. Organized religions, according to their understanding capacity, how far they have developed their morals and ethics and way of life, they have organized certain principles for human beings to maintain, to uphold, to respect their human dignity, human values, and human intelligence. Organized religion. Institutional religions have gone further, well organized, and various principles and authorities, guidance introduced by the intellectuals to run the human way of life systematically by maintaining peace, harmony, understanding, unity, and so forth. Natural religions started earlier due to various imaginations created by human beings. At that time, scientific education was not there. They could not understand the phenomena, natural occurrences, and the nature of worldly conditions. So they have created various supernatural living beings in the name of deities, started to pray and do some offerings because of fear. When they could not understand natural disasters, they thought this is the act of some supernatural living beings, and they started to pray and worship and do some offering. In order to create the favoritism for their survival to influence such unknown supernatural living beings, they started to pray, worship, do some offering. These are the 4 kinds of religion that existed. I told Buddhism is not belong to any of these groups. It is not a religion. It is not a message given to us by supernatural living beings, not a religious law, no commandment, no religious punishment, but started with right understanding. Buddhism begins with right understanding, not with fear or belief or faith, but understanding. So the Buddha has given a new title for this, the middle path, Majjhima Patipada. For human beings to lead a noble life, respectable life, without becoming slaves to religion, without suffering in the name of religion, by maintaining human dignity, they can remain as religious people. That is called middle path. Those who could not understand this new religious way of life introduced the Buddha as a religious revolutionist. It is true. The Buddha has revolutionized the existing religious belief and traditions and customs, but he has given new rational interpretations to many of those existing religious belief and traditions and customs. Mr. Nehru, the former Prime Minister of India, said, the whole world respects India just because of the Buddha. I really cannot understand what sort of courage and knowledge that he had to reject the existing religious tradition and customs for a few thousand years, to point out that in those practices there are no religious values. He said, I really cannot understand what sort of courage he had to say this. Mahatma Gandhi, in his book, My Religion, says, Hindus are indebted to the Buddha because we have learned so many things to enrich our Hinduism. It is in his book. Professor Das Gupta, who has written 3 volumes of Indian philosophy, very frankly he says, Hinduism is nowhere if Buddhism did not exist. When you compare Hindu philosophy before the Buddha and Hindu philosophy after the Buddha, you can see the difference. So Hinduism was enriched by accommodating the noble teachings of the Buddha. Finally, Hindus have given the highest honor that they can give the Buddha by accommodating him as one of the incarnations of their God. Every Hindu respects the Buddha today because of this. But there were so many others who could not tolerate, who have lost their authority, their power, their personal gain because of Buddhism. They wanted to challenge. One of them was Pushyamitra, a ruler, a king. He was a follower of Shiva, the Shaiva Siddhanta school. He has given an order which is recorded in Indian history in Sanskrit language. Yo me sramanasiro dasyati tasyahang dinar satang dasyami. If anyone can give me a head of a Buddhist monk, I'll give him 100 dinar. Dinar just like dollar. This is the way how he tried to destroy Buddhism from India, because he could not tolerate. There was another ruler in Bengal. His name was Kumarila Bhatta. He said, the Buddha's teaching is good, but it is very difficult for us to accept. It is just like pure milk in a vessel made out of dog skin. Milk is good, but the container is dirty. Therefore, we don't like to drink. That means the Buddha was not a Brahmin. The belief in India, religious teacher must be a Brahmin. Others have no authority to introduce a religion. They wanted to remain as eternal masters in India. And Swami Vivekananda was one of them who wanted to break this tradition. He said to Brahmin, your God is in your cooking pot, in your kitchen, not in your head. He wanted to ridicule the attitude of Brahmins, the superiority complex that they maintain. So, there was another well-known Vedanta philosopher in India, Shankara. Shankaracharya attacked and criticized and condemns Buddhist philosophy from head to bottom, written in Sanskrit. But he started to attack Buddhism by paying homage to the Buddha. At that time, there was not a single Buddhist scholar in India to challenge, to answer, to justify what Buddhism stands for. So he had the power, the authority to topple Buddhism in India. So these challenges started from the very beginning. The Buddha had to face enormous challenges, threat, and they had a lot of dialogue, heated argument, because the Buddha could not agree with the age-old traditions and customs and beliefs. And those existing religious groups could not agree with the Buddha's rational interpretation that he has given to the existing religious terms. Dharma. All the existing religions in India use the word dharma. Hindus, Brahmins, Jainas, Buddhists, and there are many others. Dharma was a common word at that time for religion. The interpretation given by the Buddha for this dharma is entirely different from the belief and concept that maintained by other religious groups. I can give few items. First thing, not to maintain belief or faith in anything, not knowing whether it is right or wrong. His advice is not to accept anything at once, at the same time not to reject. Observe, investigate, study, think, then you can understand whether it is necessary for you to accept or to reject. A well-known personality who approached the Buddha, who was a follower of another religion, told him that he wants to become a Buddhist. Then the Buddha asked, why do you want to become a Buddhist? He said, many people say that your teaching is wonderful. Have you heard my teaching? No, I have never heard. Then how do you know whether my teaching is practical or reasonable or justifiable? That is not the way for a person to change his or her own religion. First, you must study and think, investigate. Then you can determine whether to accept or not. And this man said, I think it is not necessary to know more about your teaching. This advice is more than enough for me to understand the nature of your religion. I decided to become a Buddhist. Because if I approach another religious leader in this country At once they embrace me, announce such a great man, also come and accept our religion. Instead, you advise me to wait, to study, to think and decide. I am fully convinced. This is the nature of the Buddha's teaching. Then, he did not emphasize or concentrated on Creator God. But there is no place in the teachings of the Buddha that we can say the Buddha has ever said that there is no God. He never uttered that there is no God. But his advice is, whether the God exists or not, you must learn how to fulfill your duties and responsibilities without depending on others. Example, if you believe in God, pray and worship for your protection. Yes, very good. There is nobody to say you are wrong. But don't forget to lock the door at night time when you go out. There is no guarantee that God will protect your house until you come back. That is Buddhism. Whether God exists or not, you should not forget your duty. If God exists, so much the better. If God does not exist, you never lose anything because you have done your duty. This is the Buddha's challenge to all the other existing religions. Then he says, people believe that there is an eternal soul, self, created by God. He says, this is a misconception, misinterpretation of the human consciousness. Because when you study all the other existing religions, you cannot find much detail about the definitions of the human mind. The Buddha concentrated more on human mind by analyzing, explaining mental faculties and duties and responsibilities. So, he explained what this consciousness is. Feeling, perception, and mental concomitant or karmic activities contribute toward the consciousness. 5 senses bring object from outside, contribute to the consciousness. Inside that mental energy, there are 5 more energies, ingredients. Avidya, Trishna, Karma, Upadana, Bhava. These are the ingredients of mental energy. Ignorance, craving, karmic energy, attachment, and karma formation. When all these things combine together, it will become consciousness. But this English word does not convey the real meaning of the vijnana used by the Buddha. So the Buddha says, the concept or the belief that people maintain that there is a soul or the self is this consciousness. When death takes place, this consciousness depart, transmit from here. It is not soul, It is not self. Viññānaṁ mātukuchismiñ okkamati. The Buddha is saying that departed consciousness transmit and again absorb into a mother's womb. That is how existence takes place again. So many others could not understand that. Then, nihilism or nihilistic views. Another religious group maintain this belief: the life is come into existence accidentally, not planned by anybody. There is no cause or reasons behind. So, we exist for a certain period in this world. After that, disintegrate, dissolve. That is the end of our life. The Buddha rejected this belief. Although he did not say that God created this life, he said, Hetung paticca sambhutang hetu bhanga nirujjati. Everything that which exists in this universe, there must be a cause. Whether animate or inanimate. Without a cause, the things never come into existence. So Buddhism highlighted cause and effect. Cause and effect going on changing. Now this is the effect of the previous cause. Later this will become the cause for the next existence. After that, next existence becomes the cause for another existence. The cause becomes the effect becomes the cause. That is how the continuity in our life process maintained. Then, the Buddha has given prominent place to so-called low caste people in India. The situations of low caste system discrimination is intolerable even today. High class Brahmins and others do not regard them as even human beings. The Buddha had the courage to ordain them as monks and allow the kings and the ministers to come and pay respect to them as holy people. Brahmins could not tolerate this. They were dead against for giving such high position to low caste people. Then, first time in the human history, the Buddha was the only religious teacher who has given equal religious right to women. Before that, women were not allowed to enter in any places of worship. They were regarded as unfortunate and very ugly, very dirty, very filthy human beings. Not allowed to enter into any sacred place. The Buddha, first time, opened the gate for the women to enter into the holy order. Before that, people regarded them as very unfortunate human beings who never can develop their spiritual power, who cannot attain sainthood, who cannot attain arahanthood, who cannot go to heaven, who cannot attain nirvana. If wives want to go to heaven, according to them, she must use the husband's passport. She has no separate passport. That was the situation of housewife at that time. They were never allowed to go out. Whole day and night, either in the kitchen or attending to their children or attend to the husband. They do not know anything about the world or religion or education, nothing. When the situation was such at that time, the Buddha had to courage to open the gate, accommodate them as nuns. Brahmins could not tolerate this. They have recorded this in Buddhist book. Arahantas disappeared from this world 500 years after the Buddha just because the Buddha allowed ladies to enter into the holy order. Recorded in religious book. It is mentioned in another Buddhist book. One day, Ananda came and asked the Buddha, why there are no judges in this country? Lady judges, only men. It is mentioned in the book, the Buddha says, Ananda, it is impossible for women to become judges because they are narrow-minded, jealous, they cannot come to any unbiased conclusion, and very emotional. They are not suitable to become judges. Who said this? The Buddha. If the Buddha had said this, today we cannot accept the Buddha as enlightened religious teacher. Because today there are prime ministers and presidents and the ministers and judges and lawyers amongst ladies. Then how can we accept the Buddha as enlightened teacher if he has uttered such words? These are the works done by the Brahmins to spoil the Buddha's name. That is why when we read even Buddhist books also, we have to use our common sense. Don't take for granted everything what is written in our religious book. There are many things imbued by the Brahmins when they enter into the order during various councils. So these challenges try to topple and try to destroy the Buddha's mission because they could not tolerate the reasonable, justifiable, practical, the method introduced by the Buddha. Animal sacrifice was a very common practice in India. One day, the Buddha saw a man was carrying few hundred sheep, and small young fellow could not walk. And the man who carried these, he started to beat. cannot walk, one leg was affected. The Buddha went and carried this lamb into his hand and asked, where do you carry this animal? They say, today the king is going to sacrifice all these animals because he had very bad dreams. His Brahmin advisors asked him to sacrifice animals to avoid the misfortune. Then the Buddha also followed, went to see the king. Then asked, is it true that you are going to sacrifice, burn these poor animals to sacrifice to God? Yes. Then he asked, which life is more valuable, whether human life or the animal's life? The king had to say, human life is more valuable. Or in that case, I am ready to sacrifice my life to save your life. Release these poor animals. Then the king opened his eyes, released those poor animals and stopped animal sacrificing. So this was a very common practice in India to please God by sacrificing, burning those poor animals. So the Brahmins were very angry because of the attitude of the Buddha, because they had no place in the society, because they have been misleading innocent people in the name of religion. Then he also advised not to develop personality cult. He said, you should not accept anything by thinking the Buddha is a great man. Therefore, we must accept what he preached. If you accept by depending on a person, you never realize, you never understand. So, personality cult is not encouraged in the Buddha's teaching. So, today, people depend on their masters, their gurus. Our guru says like this, our master says like this, therefore we must follow this. The Buddha did not encourage it. Right? One day this guru and his followers were crossing a river, the narrow bridge, and the guru fell into the river. He is shouting, please save me, protect me. And they are searching, wait. We want to see whether you have returned anything to do when you fall down into the river. Wait, please don't wait. So, same thing will happen to you if you try to follow your gurus and masters and all those people. You also must give chance for your intelligence to use without depending. Don't surrender your intelligence to others. Always say, if you say, the Buddha said we should not kill, therefore we don't know to kill, you are wrong. That should not be the attitude. The Buddha's teaching is this. I am telling you according to my own experience, because I can understand how I had to suffer during so many previous births for all the evil deeds what I have done. So if you also commit such evil, you also have to suffer. This is my experience. Now, which is more important? Experience or the message given to us by somebody else. So the Buddha says, I preach everything according to my own experience, not a message given to me by divine power or any teacher who came and taught me how to gain this supreme enlightenment by using my own effort, my knowledge, my mental purification and development. I gain this supreme enlightenment. So he did not encourage for people to depend too much on their gurus or teachers or masters. You can respect your masters, that don't follow them blindly. Another common practice, self-mortification, torturing their own physical body to wash away the sins or the bad karmas committed by them. They strongly believe this. That is how they started burning, cutting, poking, starving without taking food, and suffer when they are sick without taking medicine and die. They think by doing that they can get rid of all the bad karmas or the sins that they have committed. The Buddha says it is impossible. Your physical body is not responsible for all the bad deeds that you have committed. Your minds are responsible, not the body. So if you want to punish, you have to punish the mind. Then how to punish the mind? When you get angry, don't allow that anger to flare up. Control that anger. Punishment to your mind. When you are jealous, don't allow that jealousy to harbor, to develop. Control. That is the punishment for your mind. When you are selfish, don't allow that selfishness to develop in your mind. Withdraw that. Be generous. That is the way how to punish your mind for the bad deed that you have committed. See whether it is practical or not. Again, forgiveness of sins by praying to God, praying to supernatural living beings, praying to Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, thinking that they can get rid of all the sins committed by them. The Buddha says it is impossible. Suddhi asuddhi pacchatang nanya manya visodhi. Purity and impurity in our mind maintained individually by us. I cannot pollute your mind. I cannot purify your mind. You cannot pollute my mind. You cannot purify my mind. But you can create the environment for me to dirty or to pollute my mind or to cleanse my mind, to purify my mind. But I do that. My mind. Another mind cannot do that. So if bad deeds were committed by the mind, how can another person come and wash away all the sins committed by people? Take for instance, if you are very cruel, you go and pray to God or Buddha or anybody, I am very cruel, please take away my cruelty from my mind. Do you think there is any God or any Buddha who can take away your cruelty from your mind? Unless you make up your own mind by realizing this cruelty is bad, then you can withdraw. So you are the only one who can forgive your sin. Nobody else who can do that in this world. Then the Buddha has introduced how to do that. Not by praying and worshipping and offering to any Buddhas or Bodhisattvas or God. First thing, by realizing that you have been committing bad deed, then make up your mind not to repeat. Right. You have created the determination not to commit such bad deeds in future. That is not enough. From that day onward, you had to cultivate by doing more and more good deeds, meritorious deeds, doing some service to others. You can release others' fear, sufferings, worries, insecurity, sicknesses, various problems. All these are meritorious deeds. The more you perform such kind of meritorious deeds, you will be able to overcome the bad effect of certain bad deeds that you have committed earlier. Not enough. Still your minds are not reliable, not pure. Anger, jealousy, grudge, ill will, selfishness, all are there, although they are not active. Try to suppress, subdue, control those evil forces from your mind. Then definitely you will get the chance to overcome the bad effect of bad deeds or the sins that you have committed earlier. Then you will get the chance to be born in a favorable, suitable place where you can continue your respectable way of life. Then life after life can go on developing and developing and cultivating and cultivating. One day you will be landed or you will attain sainthood, arahanthood, nirvana. All your bad deeds that you have committed, no effect. Now you can understand how you can forgive your own sin, not by praying and worshipping to another deity. So these are the religious, practical religious advices given by the Buddha, although many people could not understand and appreciate. But today, in the West, people introduce this religion as a religion of freedom and reason. They say the freedom that Buddhists enjoy and sense of reasoning that Buddhism encourages people to use, we cannot find in other religions, because they introduce their religion as religious laws, religious commandment, without allowing the followers to use their sense of reasoning. Why we should not do this? Why we should do this? They have no time to reason out. According to them, they must accept the law or the commandments given by their religious authorities. So, then, when Buddhism started to develop, different schools of Buddhism developed up to 18 schools. Today we are fortunate, we have only 3. Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana. But 700 years after the Buddha, there were 18 schools. They are divided into 18 schools. Different concept, different interpretation of the teachings of the Buddha. Then contradiction, conflict, attack, criticism, accusation started as rival parties. This is the biggest challenge to Buddhism, done by the same Buddhists. After that, they have incorporated so many things the Buddha has rejected at the beginning in his teaching. Because their idea was to convince the masses to get more and more followers. Then magic, occultism, mantras, tantras, talismans, and so many new gadgets they have incorporated, added into Buddhism. But at the beginning, the Buddha rejected all these things. But they knew these are the things that many people need. So they went on introducing Buddhism according to the needs of the public, without considering whether they are following the teachings of the Buddha or not, whether these things are contradicting to the teachings of the Buddha or not. So what happened? Today, they maintain some sort of superiority complex, that their schools of Buddhism is higher than the others, then condemn the others. I told you only 3 schools today: Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Some people believe Mahayana is higher, better than all the others. Some others say, no, Vajrayana is far better than others. But they say, Theravada is just like foundations of a building. Mahayana is just like a structure, the wall of a building. Vajrayana is the roof of the building, completed the whole building. But remember, if the foundation is strong, is very weak, the whole building will collapse. So they too admit Theravada is the foundation. Buddhism stands on Theravada pillars. All the other schools build up, later decorated, beautified, exaggerated, wonderful, fantastic stories in the name of Buddhism, which appeal to the public. But these things have become challenges to the basic teachings of the Buddha. Then, today, materialism is increasing and increasing, developing and developing and developing. The spiritualism is going down and decline and decline and decline. The whole problem that we are facing in this world is this. People are crazy for material gain and worldly pleasure, sensual pleasure. Religion also they use for their personal gain, material gain, by misleading innocent people, blindfolding innocent people in the name of religion. Every existing religion. They pray and pray, worship and worship, do some offerings and offerings, burning and burning and burning, but in their mind, all the evil thoughts are also burning and burning and burning. After praying and praying and worshipping, when they come out, go and find out how many people have reduced their anger, how many people have reduced their cruelty, how many people have reduced their discrimination. They develop their hatred, their jealousy, their discrimination because of their respective religion, by ridiculing all the other religions and the followers of other religions. Then where is the spiritual development? There is a beautiful saying in Sanskrit language. Swapakshe vidyate raga, parapakshe tu apriya. Nirvanang nadigache, nasivang dvandhachari. The followers of one particular religion, as in Buddhists, if they say, our schools of Buddhism, or only Buddhism, is true, all the others are wrong, all the other schools of Buddhism are wrong, the followers of all the other religions are wrong. If Buddhists maintain such mentality, nirvanang nadigacheya, such Buddhists never get the chance to attain nirvana. Remember this. Nasivang dvandacharina. Not only nirvana. They never maintain peace, calmness, satisfaction in their mind because of the hostility, discrimination, jealousy, hatred that they develop because of other religions. So this saying is not only for Buddhists. It's a wonderful saying for the followers of every religion in this world, for them to understand the danger of that hostile attitude towards other religions. They think by ridiculing, accusing, blaming others, they can promote their religion. That is why they have used some ugly word. Those who do not follow their religions are heathens, pagans, infidels, sinners. These dirty words they use because we are not the followers of their religion. However good or whatever noble life, harmless, respectable life we are leading, we are sinners, we are infidels. Can you imagine? In the teachings of the Buddha, there is no such mentality to think the followers of the Buddha are the only blessed people who can go to heaven, or heaven is reserved only by them, only for them, but all the others are sinners. You cannot find such belief in the teachings of the Buddha or among the followers of Buddhism even today. This is the uniqueness in this noble religion. We maintain this noble tradition, this respectable tradition for the last 2,500 years without condemning, accusing, disturbing the followers of other religions. We never think that followers of other religion go to hell, whether they have a religion or not. If they know how to lead harmless, noble, respectable life, definitely from the Buddhist point of view, they also can go to heaven. On the other hand, Nirvana is not reserved only for the Buddhists. Nirvana means no more craving. The follower of any religion, the very day when they completely eradicated craving for worldly pleasure, craving for existence or rebirth or eternal life, craving for non-existent nihilism, then after that, Nirvana. No more craving. Nirvana. No more craving. Not necessary to have Buddhist label for that. Remember that. Now we can say, the Buddha was not a Buddhist. He did not follow Buddhism. We are the Buddhists. We follow Buddhism. The Buddha was the enlightened religious teacher. He is higher than the Buddhists or the followers of Buddhism. Enlightened. To gain enlightenment, he did not follow Buddhism. During so many previous births, he was not born in Buddhist families. Where was Buddhism at that time? But he tried to cultivate, to develop, to purify his mind, his understanding, his knowledge, his wisdom. Finally he gained enlightenment. So the Buddhist label is not important for that. After gaining his enlightenment, what he said? He did not say, you must go and introduce Buddhism. Go and convert others into Buddhism. Charata bhikkhave charikang bahojana hitaya bahojana sukhaya lokanu kampaya attaya hitaya sukhaya deva manussa. Advise his disciples. Go forth. Don't stay here. Go and tell people. People are innocent. People are ignorant. People cannot understand what is right, what is wrong. Go and work for the benefit of them, for the welfare of them, for the happiness of them. This is the message. He never said go and convert them into Buddhism. So the main purpose of Buddhism is to guide mankind to lead a respectable, noble human life by maintaining human dignity, by giving due respect to human intelligence, by leading harmless life. That is Buddhism. All the other practices and beliefs and traditions and customs are not important. Only that much. If we can do that, whether we use the label of Buddhism or not, makes no difference. We become, the Buddha's word is Arya, noble. We become noble human beings. then what is the purpose? By realizing the more we prolong our existence here in this world, in this universe, the more we had to suffer. Minds are uncertain, unreliable. I cannot trust my own mind. You cannot trust your own mind, because changes can take place any moment. Today we are very good friends, maintained for 40 to 50 years. But one or two words are enough for us to become enemies. This is the nature of human mind. Very unreliable, changeable. After introducing right understanding, he also taught us how to straighten the crookedness of the mind. All our minds are crooked minds, very crooked. To straighten this, we had to work very hard. We must be honest, we must be kind, we must have understanding, we must know how to develop unity and harmony and understanding. These are the qualities that we need to be noble, to straighten the crookedness of human mind. Real religious values we can find there. All over the world, people are worshipping and praying and offering. The whole world like a madhouse. It's a battlefield. Animals in the jungle live peacefully. But so-called intelligent, civilized, scientific education who had wonderful religions they have. Two human beings cannot live together without fighting, without quarreling. This is the nature of the human mind. Why do people slaughter innocent people, destroy the whole world? Do you think they are doing that because they have no food to eat, no clothing, no medicine, no shelter? Mahatma Gandhi said, we have more than enough things for our need in this world. But we cannot find enough things to satisfy our craving. That is the problem. Because no one can satisfy craving.